It also
A lot of
depends
the
on,
stuff,
it
a lot
also
of the stuff,
depends
if
on
you
how
go
you
through
select it.
those, yeah, if you go through those steps, you're gonna really screw up your system.
But it depends on what you select. How do you want it to answer you? Strictly factual, or a combination of factual and more like a human being, or just off the cuff and give me anything as long as it's nice and long. So, you have to choose. If you use the factual part, it'll be short, sweet, but to the point, and it will give you references.
How do you get it to do just the factual part?
Go through the Bing search with
Oh.
Chat GPT, and there you have 3 choices of how you want it to answer.
Okay.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, anyway, it turned out that there is no way to get rid of the soft.
No, it's part of the function of the, right. It's part
Yeah,
of the,
but even well, there were 3 things that it was there for. One was the restore point, the other was the shadow copy, and the third was indexing. Well, if you turn all 3 of those off, it'll still put that system volume information folder there, even though none of the stuff is working.
Greg, go ahead. Did you have another question?
you're muted, Greg.
Mike, there's 2 questions. How much is that car behind you?
That's the Fisker Pear. It's going to be produced in 2024. And their target MSRP for the entry-level trim is $27,995.
Can I take my motorhome and trade it in on it? Hey, the other question is, how much did it totally cost you for all of your solar panels to be hooked up to the grid?
Well, they don't charge anything for it to be hooked up to the grid. The power company.
No, when they installed it, they had to put a different system in there so that you could sell your electricity into the grid. How much did you totally pay for your system?
No, the system that I have, you're the electrical engineering guy, so I'm going to tell you it's in parallel. It's just sitting clamped onto the main entry leads to my service panel outside. The utility company came out and changed out the meter, and the meter is a 2-way flow that it will actually report electricity in and electricity out, which they record kilowatts in and kilowatts out. So I had a package price from the vendor of my solar PV system, and that included everything up to but not including the meter. So it wasn't broken out as a separate cost.
Well, how much did it cost you to install everything?
I did it in 2 phases. The first phase was 15 and the second phase was 12. Had I done everything all at once, it would have been about 45.
Okay, Mike, I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm a retired fire captain.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed you up.
I might think I'm an electrical engineer, but I'm not.
It might have been Carl. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Carl's the electrical guy.
Anyway, I certified myself with Sun Dealership to be a dealer for it in Idaho to install solar panels. But the amortization in Idaho, because of our electricity is so low, it's almost 11 years. So I decided not to do it.
I looked at it I didn't look at it from a payback standpoint. As a retiree on a fixed income, I looked at it, how much was I reducing my monthly costs? And my electrical costs on a typical summer day here in Florida was about $400 for the month, roughly. And I'm now, my last electrical bill was $85. So I'm very happy with the end result. I'm still paying back on the money that I borrowed, but my monthly costs are much less.
Well, anyway, I'm still impressed with what you did.
Thank you.
Carl, go ahead.
I hate to change the subject. I did hear my name. That's made me running over to the computer. This might be directed to Drake. I'm not sure. I have a older 8-year-old HP computer, and it's got a lot of apps on it, and some of it, you know, kind of unique stuff that genealogy and ham radio stuff and things that I hate to start all over installing, but I need to upgrade it because it's really slow now. And I'm thinking of buying another computer, and I could get it with either Windows 10 or Windows 11. And I want to know what's wrong with this idea. The idea was that I would have Windows 10 on the new computer and clone the software from the older Windows 10 computer to the new computer. And I have a feeling that's not going to work, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
why.
It's not going to work. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Drivers for the new machine won't be the same based on the brand.
yeah. If
Yeah,
you're gonna
so-
invest in a all new hardware, I'd go with so close to 2025. I'd go with Windows 11 anyway.
Yeah, it's not going to be supported after October 2025.
Well, no, that was, I didn't mention that part. My intention then, after I cloned it to the new, new hardware, then I would upgrade to 11. But I think the issue is the drivers with the new hardware, which is totally different than HP. I'm buying a totally different system, faster processors and faster SD drive and what have you. And I was feeling that maybe I would have run into a problem with the drivers, and I'm just confirming that.
No, you got to reinstall.
What
the
I
software.
think I would do would back up your data and then install. You still have the software for the programs you have?
No, today, it's all downloaded online. You don't have any.
Okay, so you can
hard
just
copy.
download
Make-
those programs to the new machine and then just reinstall your data and you'll be fine.
Make a listing of the programs you want to reinstall, then change over and you do your install or you get your new system with Windows 11 on it, and then you just install one after the other those programs you want to put back on. And if any of them have a problem running as Windows 11, run them in compatibility mode, Windows 10, Windows 7, because you do have compatibility mode within the operating system. And those programs that won't run as on Windows 11, they'll work fine in compatibility mode. I have nothing of the programs that I use on a regular basis from way back Windows 7 that aren't still working perfectly well on Windows 11.
Also consider a utility like Bell Arc Advisor, which in addition to giving you hardware information, will show you all the software you have installed. Sometimes give you the license codes as well.
I've heard of it. How do you spell it or say it again slowly?
I'll put it in chat. It's Bell Arc Advisor.
Yeah,
You can
I've
also
heard of
use
it, yeah.
You can also use CCleaner to get a listing of your installed programs.
Yep.
All right, put that one in the chat too, Robert.
There is another program I came across called PC Mover that it's not so great for moving everything, but if there's like one program with files and stuff associated with it, it will actually move it from one system to another. It was one that I think it was LapLink bought it from Microsoft because they gave up on the idea of migrating from one system to another.
I used to use LapLink quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I have some, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, had a disaster happen last week, and I thought I'd share it with everyone. I got an email from him a couple of days ago, and it obviously showed that his Hotmail account had been hacked, right? It was obviously from the information it was sent to me. And I looked at it, and it actually was from his account, I actually sent him an email back on his own account, his Hotmail account, and I got another spam response, right? So I phoned him, and he's an intelligent guy. Greg, you know him, John. John used to be the treasurer of our computer club, right? And he was so embarrassed because he got an email from Microsoft, and Microsoft, he said he doesn't do a lot of email, but he does do email. And it said that since he didn't use his Hotmail account very much, that he had to they were cleaning up their old accounts, and that he had to re-register the account, and please click this link to re-register the account. Well, when he clicked the link, of course, he entered like all his personal information in, including his password and everything to Microsoft. And boom, he was in the glue, right? They got everything. So just please, I guess the more of the story is, and it's so hard because this guy's a smart fella, and the email looked truly like a Microsoft email. So just be so careful. If you ever got anything like that, log into your Microsoft account. Don't go through the email. Go actually to it and check and see if that is happening, because it is not possible in looking at email to discern what's real and what is fake. It's really, really impossible to do now because they're so good at it. So please be careful with that. So, you're just not going to be getting emails from your banks or your Microsoft or Google wanting you to click the link and change anything. It's not. Bob talks about this all the time, and we talk about it all the time, but I feel so sorry for him because he does listen to our show. He does understand this, but it was such a good trap that he fell for it. And so just please, again, be careful, everyone.
Does he still live up outside of Manitoba?
Yeah. He still lives in Manitoba, but he's still at Silveridge.
Oh, he still does.
Yeah, he still goes.
Wow.
He's in Silveridge now. So anyway, it's a sad situation. And it is what you have to remember. If you have a Gmail account, what happened ultimately is Microsoft got on that right away, and they canceled the account, closed it, boom, gone, right? And if that had been like a Gmail account in Google, if you had a big YouTube channel, you had a lot of all your Google photos, all of that in your Google account, and Google catches that and says, uh-oh, we're going to close this because it's being hacked. Boom, everything's gone. So you really want to be very careful. You can lose an awful lot.
I got two things before we let Jim speak. Number one, if you see in the background an alligator, that's in the lake here where I live. We're a small village of 85 units, and we have a lake in the middle, and that alligator is our resident alligator. I took this picture about a week or two ago. The second thing is we were talking about locations, and I put in the chat about what it's called, what3words.com. And it divides the entire world into 3-meter squares and gives 3 names to it. And you type in the words and it'll pinpoint exactly where you are. So your yard or your property might have several squares. So different parts of your property may have a different location on the map. But it's an interesting way of looking at where you are or where somebody is and how to pinpoint it. And that was, I think it was Greg, you were asking about that. Take a look at that. What3words.com.
Thank you.
Jim?
Okay, Jim. Jim Glass.
Hey, Hewie, is that your garbage disposal in that pond?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've got, there's several pictures. One, he had the bird in it, one of the birds. I don't know if it was one of those or not, but he had one in his mouth and he actually spit it out. And I'm not sure whether he just ate what he wanted and got rid of it, or whichever one he had he didn't like. But he spit it out. Then he turned around and looked the other way. So
sounds like my dog. Anyway, I have one computer suggestion and one non-computer thing for the gentleman who's looking for new equipment. and you're going to transfer your stuff, make sure you get all your passwords printed out so that you can be sure you've got everything when you transfer over. Well, yeah, I'm noted for screwing up things, and I got screwed up on one of those type of situations. Fortunately, I did have another backup of the passwords, and made a big difference.
Well,
The other thing-
if you're using a password manager, just make sure you know the name or the password for the password manager.
Yeah.
And make sure you know the password and sign-in information for your Microsoft account if you're buying another Windows computer. Those are the two main things you have to have.
And your Mac account if you're using a Mac.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. That's exactly what I did. And guess what? My password manager wouldn't recognize my master password.
That's because you didn't have the right password for it to verify.
Oh, well, anyway.
If you can't remember it, Jim, then it's just going to reject what you put in there.
No, I can guarantee you that it was the correct password.
I have never, ever in all my years had it say that that's the wrong password when I put in a correct password.
Well, it didn't say it was the wrong password. It just wouldn't accept it. And believe me, I've been doing this a year or two myself, and I really fought with it to get it. I finally did get it back, but it took a whole bunch of machinations on my part. So I'm just giving you a suggestion for a super safe backup, and then you can, destroy the printout if you want. You're right. You got to remember the master password or you're SOL. I remember the master password and I was SOL. Non-computer thing. I found out I was trying to replace the wheels on my office chair because it was all screwed up. The thing wouldn't roll. And when I was looking for replacement wheels, I found something that they call rollerblade wheels on Amazon. They ain't cheap. They were $47, but man, you put those things on, it's literally like you're rollerblading. Your chair moves so smoothly, it doesn't tear up anything. And it took me about 30 seconds to replace, and they work just great. I bought them for my wife.
Jim, I got to cut you short because we're about
Okay.
ready to start. I did put in the chat box a support group for WISE. I know you had trouble with it. Support group on Facebook for WISE.
Thank you.
All right, we're about ready to begin here. Well, no, I guess I got 1 minute. Sorry to cut you short.
Not a problem.
Bill, you have 30 seconds.
Okay, is the full transcript working?
Could be.
I see it's the full Oh, okay, it's not working. I'm gonna go out and come back in then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome to those who are here. This has been our pre-meeting social time and time to ask some questions, and we're about to begin here. I'm waiting just a few more seconds.
Mute everyone.
Yeah, would you? I
Can
did
do.
too.
That includes you, Hewie.
I see that. Well, hello there. This is Tech for Senior for April 3rd, 2023, episode 1 of our 4th year, or episode number 157. Depends on how you want to count them. I'm Hewie Poplock, and I'll be your host today. Ron is here. He's in the background, but he's here. But I am doing the hosting, and Ron is the co-host today. This is a 1-hour show about technology, with a Q&A at the end. And today we're going to be talking about security, and then part 2 of Bob's Amazon tour. Then we'll have a PC, Mac, and laptop ports, and then the unboxing of a mini computer. And of course, followed by our music director, Ray Baxter's music choice of the day. I'd like to introduce those who are here that are part of the staff. We'll start with my co-host today, Ron Brown. Ron, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. I had the week off. It was great.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed the weekend while I was busily
I
putting
had a
things
great
together.
week. Got some gardening done, went for a little bike ride. All is good.
And I've got a busy week coming up. I've got the Stug meeting on Wednesday, and Bob G, our own Bob G, is going to be doing his presentation of cybersecurity A to Z for Stug on Wednesday night. And then I have the we have the Tech for Senior Live on Thursday. And then the CFCS Stug Windows SIG is Sunday. If you're signed up for the Windows SIG from past meetings, you don't have to re-sign up. It's the same link, and I'll be sending a reminder out. And probably today or tomorrow, I'll be sending out the WinSig newsletter, monthly newsletter. So if you aren't signed up for that, go to hewie.net and sign up for it. Let's see who else is here from our staff. There's Ray Baxter. How you doing, Ray?
I'm doing great, Hewie. How are you doing today?
Super. What was your week like?
Well, not as nearly as busy as yours, but on Saturday I went down to Phoenix and hosted the group of music listeners that meet monthly, and we have a new restaurant, and we're trying to see if we can set up a video there so we can actually show YouTube videos in addition to just listening to the songs we like.
Good. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
I'm always anxious to help people start one in their own community. Just let me know.
And let's see, I want to get my gator out of the background here. So hang on one second. And there we are. We're back to normal. And I see Bill James is here. Hey, Bill.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's going on in your world?
Not much, just keeping busy, playing with my gadgets and just having fun.
And you're on your Mac today, right?
I'm on my Mac today, yes.
Well, good. All right. And Mike Ungerman's here. Mike?
Got
Well, there he is.
to hit that unmute button.
Yep.
Focusing in on EVs and upcoming tax time.
Yeah, for those of us in the States, we have our taxes due by the middle of this month. So yeah, that reminds me, I gotta do mine too. Although I don't need to, but I do it for 2 reasons. One, I need to have a report for our community office. And then I also want to protect myself. I go ahead and report so no one else steals my account with the IRS. And so I protect myself with that. And Ron, what's going back to you? What's going on with Tech for Seniors that you're working on?
Well, the newsletter this last Saturday, I'm learning how to cook with a wok, and it's great fun. It's easy. It's simple. So the YouTube video I'm watching is called Wok with Tak, T-A-K, and cooking with a wok. Dr. Tak Chung who I think he's from Illinois. He's retired. I don't know if he's a medical doctor. He teaches you how to cook with a wok, and it's real easy to do. His videos are so simple, and he has a massive following. So I put that in as our featured channel on our Saturday newsletter, and that's Wok with Hack. So if you are interested in some cooking skills, be sure and look at our Saturday newsletter, because we have always a featured channel in there.
Yeah, Ron, you do a lot of cooking. Do you have a wok?
Right. Actually, my wife has a wok, and so that's the one gadget I don't have. And so I said, could I learn? So I want to, it's just another utensil, but it's cool technology, and I'm having lots of fun with it.
Do you have an air fryer?
Got an air fryer, got an Instapot. I got them all.
Yeah, I've been real happy with my air fryer.
Air fryer's great. Yeah.
And speaking of the newsletter, we had some pretty good articles this week.
We did. And if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, www.techforsenior.com, and you can sign up, and you too can get our free newsletter that comes out twice a week.
Right. And each of us do one article a week. And with 2 editions, we split it up. So mine is on Saturdays, and I've gotten some pretty good feedback from some of the articles that I've done. So there are some good articles in there that we spend some time either researching or just posting. But we found some pretty good articles in there. We want to make sure that you are going to the to our website, www.techforsenior.com, and sign up for our newsletter if you're not getting it. And it does have the links to all our meetings on top of it. So when you can't remember how to get to us, that's the best way to find us.
And that's a good point, Hewie, is that we don't know who you are. You know who we are, but we don't know who you are. So the only way we really can communicate with you is through the newsletter. So if we have updates or things, our plans of what we're going to do for the week, I put the agenda for today's meeting. There's the Thursday meeting broadcast we have. I put the agenda for that in. All the information is in those newsletters to learn what we're doing. So you really should sign up for that.
Yeah, and I do a newsletter for the WinSig or the Windows SIG. And that will be going out in the next couple of days. So make sure that you go to hewie.net and sign up for it. I think we also have a link for it on the Tech for Senior site, but if not, just go to hewie.net and sign up for it. Okay, Bob, I think we're ready for the security news.
Let's get to it. Isn't that nice? It's not set to the right place.
We work so hard to get these things ready. We put them somewhere, and then we got to go find them in the morning.
Oh, darn it.
I think we had an extra minute in the schedule. We know why now.
And I set it up beforehand. Now I don't see it.
You want me to play it from the YouTube?
I have it.
Okay.
Here is the security news roundup for the week ending March 31st, 2023. New Mac Stealer. Mac OS malware steals iCloud keychain data and passwords. A new information stealing malware has set its sights on Apple's Mac OS operating system to siphon sensitive information from compromised devices. Dubbed Mac Stealer, it's the latest example of a threat that uses Telegram as a command and control platform to exfiltrate data. It primarily affects devices running Mac OS version Catalina and later running on M1 and M2 CPUs. It's been reported that the Mac stealer can steal documents, browser cookies, and login information. Make sure you keep your Mac OS updated. Read more at thehackernews.com. Replit and Google Cloud partner to advance generative AI for software development. Under the new partnership, Replit developers will get access to Google Cloud infrastructure, services, and foundational models via Ghostwriter, Replit's software development AI, while Google Cloud and Workspace developers will get access to Replit's collaborative code editing platform. The collaboration will accelerate the creation of generative AI applications and underscores Google Cloud's commitment to nurturing the most open ecosystem for generative AI. For Replit, already 20 million developers strong, this partnership with Google Cloud is its next move in realizing its mission to empower the next 1 billion software creators. How can developers get the full power of LLMS? End-to-end fast? Enter Replit, powered by Google Cloud infrastructure and foundation models under this partnership. Read more on the Replit.com blog. Trojanized Tor browser installers spreading crypto-stealing Clipper malware. Trojanized installers for the Tor anonymity browser are being used to target users with Clipper malware designed to siphon cryptocurrencies since September of 2022. Clipper injectors can be silent for years, show no network activity or any other sign of presence until the disastrous day when they replace a crypto wallet address. Vitali Kamluk, Director of Global Research and Analysis Team for APAC at Kaspersky, said. Read more at thehackernews.com. A frequently returned label warns Amazon shoppers about shoddy products. One persistent complaint about Amazon is that the site can sometimes offer low quality or knockoff items, but it looks like the e-commerce giant is trying to address the problem with a new label that'll say if a product experiences frequent returns. As first reported, open in a new window by The Information, Amazon quietly added a frequently returned item label on select products that have received an inordinate number of returns. So far, the label has been found on a $499 turntable, open in the new window, and 2 Summers opens in a new window. Dresses opens in a new window from relatively unknown brands. It appears Amazon is experimenting with the labels, though, because they didn't appear all the time. Read more at PCMag.com. Court orders GitHub to reveal who leaked Twitter's source code. The U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California signed off on a subpoena yesterday. Under the terms of the subpoena, GitHub has until April 3rd to unmask the hooligans that uploaded pieces of the Twitter source code to the GitHub repository. The subpoena specifically requires GitHub to disclose the name, address, telephone number, email address, social media profile information, and IP addresses of any user associated with the account that uploaded the code, which goes by the username Free Speech Enthusiasts. Read more at gizmodo.com. New Wi-Fi protocol security flaw affecting Linux, Android, and iOS devices. A group of academics from Northeastern University and KU Leuven has disclosed a fundamental design flaw in the IEEE 802.11 Wi-Fi protocol standard, impacting a wide range of devices running Linux, FreeBSD, Android, and iOS. Successful exploitation of the shortcoming could be abused to hijack TCP connections or internet client and web traffic. To reduce the probability of such attacks, it's recommended to implement Transport Layer Security, TLS, to encrypt data in transit and apply policy enforcement mechanisms to restrict network access. Read more at thehackernews.com. Alien Fox malware targets API keys and secrets from AWS, Google, and Microsoft Cloud Services. A new comprehensive toolset called Alien Fox is being distributed on Telegram as a way for threat actors to harvest credentials from API keys and secrets from popular cloud service providers. The spread of Alien Fox represents an unreported trend towards attacking more minimal cloud services, unsuitable for crypto mining, in order to enable and expand subsequent campaigns. Sentinel-1 security researcher Alex Delamotte said in a report shared with the Hacker News. To mitigate threats posed by Alien Fox, organizations are recommended to adhere to configuration management best practices and follow the principle of least privilege. Read more at thehackernews.com. This week's must-see on my YouTube channel. There are a lot of Wi-Fi security tips that don't secure your Wi-Fi network against intrusions. So skip them and focus on the security-enhancing tips and tricks that do. Please watch my video on that topic at the link listed. Did you know? During World War II, Lazy Boy manufactured seats for tanks, torpedo boats, gun turrets, and armored cars. I wonder if my recliner was recycled from one of those. Volvo gave away its 1962 patent for their 3-point seat belt for free in order to save lives. Did you know the official bird as of 1983 of Redondo Beach, California, is the Goodyear blimp? Find the good. It's all around you. Find it, showcase it, and you'll start believing in it. Thanks to Jesse Owens. I just thought you might want to know. And that wraps up my security news roundup for this week. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Give
Thanks,
me a
Bob.
second. Give me a
Yep,
second
you've got-
to find
Go
the
ahead.
next video.
And while you're doing that, I just want to thank you. And boy, the bad guys just keep working and plugging along.
Yeah,
so-
unfortunately.
And as quickly as we can find new ways to protect ourselves, they find new ways around it.
Part 2 this week.
Go ahead.
Welcome back, everyone. This was the look behind the scenes, and now we're getting right into the question and answer section of our tour. And I'm not going to do that on my own, of course not. I am introducing back you to Kate and Fede so we can take a closer look at the Q&A. So we are happy to answer the questions you have. First of all, we want to say a big shout out to a couple of guests that are calling in from today. And one of our biggest group is actually from Salt Lake City, the Westminster College for Ops Management class. So happy to have you on this tour. Great that you're online today. Hope you enjoyed the tour, and we're happy to answer the question. So still some time left if you want to drop one. However, the first question that we got was the obvious question, Kate. It's about our robots, and one of our guests is asking, like, how does the robot know what's stored in the shelf above it? Like, where is this information saved? There's so much information, but where is actually the resource or the source in general for all of that information we have?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, the robots are really smart, but they're not smart enough to automatically know where everything is stored. We use Amazon Web Services, or AWS, to track all of the data in our building, and that starts with the scanning of barcodes. So every single item that we put away on our shelf has a barcode, and every shelf has a barcode. So we're able to scan the item, scan the barcode of that shelf, and then every shelf itself, every pod, also has a barcode that the robot can scan to know that it's going to retrieve the right shelf with the right product on it. So everything comes back to that magical barcode, which is unique for every item that we have inside of the building.
Perfect. Thank you so much for helping us understand. So you can tell barcodes and scanners, it's the dream team. Of course, together with our amazing employees, making it a dream team of 3 in total. So that's a lot of technology we have. Thank you so much. Another question, happy to take on that one. Why do some items get delivered quickly and others take much longer? Well, I need you to understand that we have different ways available here. So maybe taking a closer look at the FBA program in that case as well, which is standing for Fulfillment by Amazon. Whenever you order something online on amazon.com, .de, .it, just to reference the 3 countries today, it depends like where is this item actually stored. So is it a fulfillment center directly? Like, do we have it here on site in our fulfillment centers? Or is the FBA partner maybe just using our online platform, like the virtual storage place, if you want to call it like that? Then they might take advantage of that. However, the shipment is actually going through their own logistics partner. So this might take a little longer, also taking into consideration that we, of course, differentiate between regular customers as well as prime customers. So for our prime customers, it does get a little quicker. There are so many possibilities of why items are sometimes a lot faster than other times. Of course, we also have an important supply chain management in the background happening, making sure that we always have the items available. If we do get new items that have big demand, let's say a new computer game is being launched and it's available, we do get a lot of orders for that one specifically, so we need to take care of that. We need to focus. So yeah, this is just a couple of options that we have here for answering that question. We hope you do understand that it might differ from time to time, so always taking that into consideration whenever you're shopping online, when you shop on Amazon.
Thank you, Patricia, for answering my question.
Last question, Federica, this is for you, and maybe just referring to the pack department here. What is your experience with continuous improvement? So how did we get better from the past during the last time to today when we take a look at the pack department improving here?
Well, thank you so much. That's an excellent question. And you should know that in Amazon, for us, our motto is it's always day one. So we try to change, and we actually like to change many things and try to get better day by day, step by step too. Sometimes we take new ideas and they become new processes. So we try to implement them as much as we can. For example, in the pack department, one of the examples you might have actually seen from my colleague Carmen while she was packing is that you might have noticed that some packages were placed on the conveyor, so back on the conveyor, directly without any extra Amazon packages. So just with the original packages they had, possibly because they were already ready to go. So we just placed the spool label, of course, later on the shipping label, and they will be just delivered as they are. We do call them here, I don't know if it's a worldwide name, but we call them here as AOC or SIOC, as you like to call them. It's an acronym. It stands for Ship in Own Container, which stands, again, that we're going to ship them in their own container without adding any extra packages. And this will lead us to save a lot of paper, a lot of boxes. So again, sustainability, this is one of our mission, to try to be not just the most customer-centric company in the world, but also trying to be sustainable as much as we can. So this is just one small example, but we're always trying to implement new things every day.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for explaining just another acronym that we are loving. We're using them all the time, and we always try to make sure that we explain them. Taking a look at the time, we're actually at time. I saw a couple more questions coming in, and also one question was, will this session be available as a recording? Well, we do have a couple of recordings available on our YouTube channel, not just in English language, but if you also want to learn some Italian, some German, some French, some Polish, we have a couple of videos available on our YouTube channel, so make sure to check that out, and you'll see a recording of a couple more virtual tours, learning a bit more maybe about each process in your mother tongue if you do speak other languages, just not English. So happy to direct you to that one, but we also have an US version and a UK version as well, so make sure to check that out. First of all, thanks to both you, Kate, and you, Fede, for joining the virtual tour today from your respective sites. We hope you did enjoy today's tours. We liked it. Hope you did so too. We are kindly asking for your feedback, so make sure to look into your inbox. In a couple of minutes, you will get another email saying thank you once again and asking for your feedback. There's a little survey link. We're looking forward to get your feedback on things that we can improve. What did you enjoy about today's tours? We are always excited to hear from you. We always want to continuously improve ourselves. Like Fede said, every day is day one, even for tours. So we're looking forward to that. Otherwise, thanks again for joining from wherever you were calling in. I saw a couple of comments from around the globe. Just another one that I saw from someone in Singapore. So that is
Wow.
exciting having you on this tour already. I think it's somewhat late afternoon for you, so that's exciting. Anyway, thanks for joining. Have a great rest of your day from wherever you're calling in, and see you next time on this virtual tour. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Thank you.
That was pretty interesting, in my opinion. It was also nice to know that it was actually live, since the question I posed was one of the ones that was answered. If you like this tour, why not simply book your own? And you get to look at it at your own pace and in real time. Stay safe, stay secure. I hope you enjoyed this virtual tour of the Amazon fulfillment centers. And guess what? We got part number 3, not part number 2. So sorry about that.
You can do part number 2 next week.
We'd skip part number 2.
Yeah. Anyway, that was very interesting, and it's too bad it's virtual. We can't just go on a tour of our local warehouses and distribution points. I think
they don't do in person anymore. It always is virtual, but you can sign up for your own tour, as I did.
Yeah. All right. The next item is, I'm just setting it up here and share and make sure I get the right one. There it is. It is PC and laptop ports, but it's also Mac, because Mac has the same ports as the PC. And I did read an article this week that PC means personal computer. So that means Windows or Mac. So when we say PC, we really mean both. So let's take a look at this. PC and laptop ports explained. What are all those connections? I'm Hewie Poplock. Got a new PC or a laptop and wondering what all the ports and connections are for? Here are some of the most common modern connection types, plus some of the older and deprecated connectors you might find on older hardware. Data connectors. These connectors are designed primarily with data transfer in mind. They may also carry audio, power, or a network signal too. There's the USB Type-C. The new ubiquitous connector USB-C is a fully reversible 24-pin digital data connector. It can be used as a USB data port, including USB 3.1 and above, as a video connection using DisplayPort alternate mode or HDMI alternate mode, as part of the Thunderbolt 3 or 4 specification, or as a means of charging peripherals such as USB power delivery. Not all USB-C cables are built alike, so make sure you pick a good one. As we race towards a future where USB-C dominates, you can upgrade your older cables with cheap adapters. The Thunderbolt. The modern Thunderbolt 3 and 4 ports share the USB-C connector, but they're not necessarily the same. Many computers feature a small lightning bolt symbol next to the Thunderbolt ports, and some laptops, like the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro, designate all USB-C ports as Thunderbolt connectors. Thunderbolt is an active technology, which means it has electrical circuitry in its connectors that are capable of high transfer speeds up to 80 gigabit per second on Thunderbolt 4. Older Thunderbolt 1 and 2 connectors were different, featuring a non-reversible connector. You can buy adapters for those devices for use with modern Thunderbolt ports, though the speed remains capped at the oldest specification. Thunderbolt has some neat tricks that USB specifications lack, like the ability to daisy chain connections. What about Thunderbolt versus USB-C? Well, the main difference between Thunderbolt and USB-C is that Thunderbolt has USB-C capabilities. However, USB-C does not have Thunderbolt capabilities. The Thunderbolt port is designed similarly to the USB-C connector. However, if you connect a Thunderbolt connection to a USB-C port, your possibilities will be limited. Thunderbolt technology offers a maximum data transfer rate of up to 40 gigabits per second, while USB-C offers a maximum data transfer rate of up to 10 gigabits per second. This means that the Thunderbolt is more than 4 times faster than USB-C. If you need to transfer large files quickly, Thunderbolt is the better option. USB Type A. Deprecated but still present on many devices, USB-A is what many of us simply refer to as USB for most of our lives. It's a non-reversible conductor that was first introduced in 1996 to replace slower and more cumbersome connectors like serial and parallel ports. Over the course of USB's lifespan, transfer rates have gone from 1.5 microbits per second to 80 gigabits per second in USB 4 version 2.0. USB-A connectors were deprecated after USB 3.1 in 2013, which means the maximum speed they're capable of is 10 gigabits per second. Many modern devices still use a USB-A port for compatibility, but you're better off buying and using USB-C where possible. Ethernet, IEEE 802.3. An Ethernet port connects your computer to a wired network connection. Standardized in 1983, Ethernet began life with paltry speeds of just under 3 megabits per second, with the latest standard capable of 400 gigabits per second with speeds of 1.6 terabytes per second expected by 2025. To take advantage of the higher speed, you'll need the network interface on your computer, a router, and cabling to all be compatible with your desired speed. The plug is often referred to as an RJ45. Power connectors. The following is a selection of common power connectors that you can find on a desktop and notebook computer. Be aware that USB-C, listed above or talked about earlier, has become a common power connector for many laptops and peripherals. IEC 6320 C13 and 14, the kettle plug, found on the back of most desktop computers and many game consoles. This connector is informally known as the kettle plug for its use in other consumer electronics. They also are commonly used for amplifiers, audio and video equipment, monitors, and other peripherals. You never knew it had a name. IEC 6320 C5 and C6, the cloverleaf. Like the kettle plug, the cloverleaf is another common power adapter, but one that's more commonly found on external laptop power adapters. The C6 male connector connects it to a C5 socket on the power brick itself, with a plug on the other end to connect to main power. There is a thinner adapter cable that connects to the laptop. The DC barrel connector, available on a vast range of sizes, a DC or direct current barrel connector or jack is used to connect an external laptop power adapter to the laptop in question. These are less common. than they once were since the arrival of USB power delivery, but many laptops still use them. An Apple-specific power connector, MagSafe, made its return with the 2021 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro revision, with the 2022 MacBook Air redesign also including support for the format. The connector uses a magnet to hold it securely in place, with the magnet connection easily breaking away if the cord gets snagged, preventing your laptop from being dragged off the desk. MagSafe also appeared on older Apple computers, but disappeared for around 5 years, starting in 2016. MacBook models with MagSafe were introduced in 2021 and later used MagSafe 3, which is a different shape to the MagSafe 2, which launched in 2012, which itself is incompatible with the original MagSafe that debuted in 2006. Video connectors. Want to carry video from your computer to a monitor, television, or projector? You'll probably be using one of the following. What you're seeing on the screen is a VGA connector, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Display port. Commonly found on computer monitors, but not televisions, graphic cards, and laptops, the DisplayPort or DP connector is a non-reversible 20-pin digital video connection. The standard was first released in 2006 as a means to replace DVI, VGA, and other outdated connectors. Like USB, the standard has evolved over the years to support higher bandwidth connections that allow for greater resolutions and faster refresh rates. DP 1.4, introduced in 2016, is arguably the most common iteration, supporting up to 32.4 gigabits per second, plus optional DSC or display stream compression. DP 2.0 launched in late 2022 with a bandwidth of up to 80 gigabits per second. In addition to video, the standard can also transport audio and USB data. HDMI Type A, short for High Definition Multimedia Interface. HDMI is one of the most ubiquitous digital video connector in the world. Utilizing a 19-pin connector, HDMI was first introduced in 2002 and has gone through several iterations, introducing higher bandwidth capacities for greater resolutions, frame rates, and additional features like 3D and HDR video. The HDMI 2.1 standard caps out at 48 gigabits per second, capable of up to 10K video at 100 hertz and a DSC display stream compression. The standard is necessary to take advantage of 4K HDR video at 120 hertz on consoles like PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and graphics cards like the NVIDIA 30 and 40 series. It also includes built-in support for variable refresh rate or VRR using HDMI adaptive sync. HDMI transfers video, audio, Ethernet, and CEC, consumer electronics control, data for controlling other connected devices. Technologies like ARC, which is audio return channel, are built on the HDMI standard. There's the standard HDMI, the mini, and the micro. VGA, outdated but still found on many recent devices from the last 5 years or so, particularly TVs. VGA stands for Video Graphics Array, and its 15-pin analog video connector was especially common on chunky old CRT monitors, projectors, and early flat screen LCDs. Though old, VGA managed to stick around long past its due as a PC port on many smart TVs. Audio connectors. Audio is now often bundled with video connections like HDMI and DisplayPort, but dedicated audio connections are still present on most computers, with both input and output. Commonly used for 2-channel stereo audio and microphone input, the 3.5 millimeter jacks are common on all types of computers. You'll find them on the back of a desktop, often with separate output and input ports, on the front of the PC cases, and on laptops with mixed-use ports. Typically speaking, green ports are used for stereo output, while the red ports signify a microphone input. These outputs are integrated digital to analog converters, or DACs, which make it easy to connect your computer to an external speaker or an old amplifier. Optical, or SPDIF, and Toslink. The optical cables carry a digital audio signal using a special fiber optic cable. Toslink is short for Toshiba Link and is named after the company that created the standard. SPDIF stands for Sony Philips Digital Interface, and it refers to the software component of the standard. Though they deliver a cleaner sound than analog connectors and are not subject to interference from radio frequencies or ground loops, optical does have some drawbacks. Plastic optical cables are usually limited to 5 or 10 meters in length due to the potential for signal degradation, and cables can become damaged from being bent or compressed. The Kensington lock. Not really a port at all, a Kensington lock slot allows for you to attach a keyed or combination lock to your laptop to prevent it from being stolen. Some outdated or uncommon ports. The following ports may be found on older hardware, but are rarely included on the modern devices. The PS2 connections, IEEE 1394 Firewire, DVI, parallel ports. The port got its name from the method of data transfer, where bits of data could be transferred simultaneously in parallel. Parallel was eventually superseded by USB, particularly USB 2.0 and integrated network interfaces. The PC card. Serial ports. Like parallel, serial got its name from the method of data transfer, where data is sent and received sequentially rather than simultaneously. And here are many ports on the side of a lot of the laptops. The optical connector. As a summary, here are the most common laptop ports. PC and laptop ports explained. What are all those connections? I'm Hewie Poplock. On one of those slides, I have a very big mistake, and I don't know if you caught it or not, but the one where it talked about serial ports. It talked about the VGA port. I had circled a port on the back of that machine, and it was a VGA port. It wasn't a serial port. But the serial port had 2 rows, and the VGA port has 3. Anyway, that's it, and lots of links. Lots of ports and lots of plugs to know, and hopefully that helped you get an idea of what some of those things are that you plug and unplug. And next, we're going to talk to Ray's got something for us on a new computer he bought. Ray?
Yeah, thank you very much, Hewie, and you've taught me some names of that I only knew initials of in the past, so thank you very much. Let's see, there'll be no, so I'm going to just go like this, and should have had this up and ready to go, but here we are. All right, the title of this is Small but Powerful, the Mini PC. To me, this is a new style of a desktop. So a little background first. Last year, I replaced my main desktop with a new PC. Now, the older PC was a Windows 10, did not meet the Windows 11 requirements, so I decided that would be a good use for my first Plex server to house all my media, and I've talked about this in the past. Now, a neat feature of using Plex is the ability to share the stored media with family living elsewhere, or simply view it myself when away from home. Now, the old computer was acceptable for viewing movies on different televisions in my household, but the processor was not able to handle the required transcoding for offsite viewing. So what is transcoding? Well, movies are typically encoded at 20 to 40 megabytes per second, but my ISP only provides an upload speed of 8 megabits per second, which is much too slow to stream a movie to watch outside of my home. So what happens is the Plex transcoder software will reduce the size of the movie file to a speed that can be transmitted, for example, to my phone, so I could watch the movie if I'm away from home. The process relies heavily on the CPU. Now, the good news is most Intel chips utilize a feature called QuickSync, which is the hardware brand's dedicated video encoding and decoding system. However, my old HP Tower uses an AMD chip that does not have such capability. Now, my next step was to purchase a new computer specifically to use as my Plex server, and it had to have certain characteristics. So these are the considerations that I wanted for my new Plex server PC. I wanted it to have the Intel processor with QuickSync. I needed to go and look up, make sure that the one I chose does have it, because not everyone has it, but most of the newer ones do. It had to be a smaller size than the HP Tower I was using. I wanted it to have Windows 11. I wanted it to have the ability to expand. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So for me, not expensive was, I was looking for a new computer that was going to be under $400 for this purpose. So after a fair amount of research, I chose to go with a mini PC. So what is a mini PC? Unlike a laptop, a mini PC does not have a screen or keyboard, so the layout is quite small. I purchased a B-Link SEI8, and the physical dimensions of this unit are smaller than 5 inches long by 5 inches wide, and it's less than 2 inches high. And the components include the Intel 8th generation Coffee Lake i5. It's a 3.8 speed processor. It comes with a 500 gigabyte solid state M.2 NVMe drive with room to add up to another 2 terabyte, 2.5 inch SATA solid state drive. It comes with 16 gig of RAM, but it's expandable to 32. And the ports included a LAN, some of the ports we just heard from Hewie, a LAN, 4 USB 3.0, 2 HDMI 4K displays, and 1 USB-C. As Hewie pointed out, this is the USB that's going to be taking over as time goes on. And the operating system was Windows 11 Pro, not Home, but Windows 11 Pro. So this is currently listed on Amazon for $359, although I paid less because I was able to obtain a $40 discount coupon and I had some other credits due me. So a picture is worth how many words? So here you'll see a visual comparison of the size of the mini PC on the bottom there with the HP Tower. That's all necessary to give you an idea of how small these units actually are. All the connectivity I will need from top to bottom. So on the top picture, you have 2 USB 3.0 and then 1 USB-C. There's the Kensington lock that we just mentioned a little bit ago for security if you had this in an office environment, and the power switch. And on the bottom picture, there's your LAN port plus 2 more USB 3.0 and 2 HDMI with the 4K capability. And there's the power connection along with multiple cooling vents. In the box also were the following. We have 2 HDMI connectors, and there's a really short one, and that one is for use if you want to mount this mini PC to the back of a monitor Sometimes the backs of monitors will have different available to screw in, and that you use that much smaller HDMI connector. And then there's a ribbon connection when you're inserting another hard drive, another solid state drive in the mini computer. There's a bracket for mounting the back to this unit to the back of a monitor, and then there's the 2-part power cord. And the user manual and hard disk. It actually has its own little user manual and a hard disk installation guide. I didn't show those. So this is the end of part 1. I just wanted to kind of give you an introduction to this now. I'm going to have a part 2 once I have the new mini computer installed and set up, and I'll demonstrate what that's like. So stay tuned. And this is the end of part 1. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. As I mentioned to you, I have a NUC from Intel. It's the next unit of computing, NUC, and it's the same size, and it comes with the holes that you can mount on the back of your monitor if it was a monitor that could be put on the wall. It's comparable to that. And so that I have it hanging on the back of my monitor, so it's not on my desk. And I love that size, but the one I have was about $1,100 more than yours. So cheap wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for power, and this looks like a really nice computer or a second computer for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm going to use it now as a Plex server, but the fact that it has Windows 11 Pro, most of the computers that I have in the house are Windows 10 and are not capable of running Windows 11. So I'm always looking to buy something now that will work for me going forward.
Okay. At this time, we're going to turn off and say goodbye to our YouTube people. And we want to thank you for joining us. If there's enough room, you can come over to our Zoom meeting and join us for the music and then for the Q&A. But for now,